Hey everybody, how you doing? Jody here. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the coming events of the world and what it's going to be like as I see it intuitively from now on, given the times that we're in and how we're halfway through 2025. So if you don't know me, I help spiritual seekers and emerging love leaders with navigating awakening, embodying soul purpose, and authentic self-expression. So, yes, okay, crazy things happening in the world. As you probably know, if you haven't been living under a rock, I do keep abreast of world events, and that's been something I've been doing all my life. I started to look behind the news, look at the stories behind the news, look at what was really going on and find out the truth from an early age. And part of that in terms of world events and the news was to do with studying, I was going to say astrology, sociology when I was 16, 17 years old. I had a good sociology teacher and I was inspired, and we were really encouraged to kind of look at the headlines and look what was really going on and what the narrative that was being portrayed through the headlines and through newspapers was, and start to kind of really deconstruct it all and look at kind of the media cycles and look at the what was described as kind of media desensitization or media desensitization, when you'd have this kind of cycle of news, and then there'd be a point where, like what you've got in Gaza now, where you've got literally civilians being murdered by the IDF on a daily basis, trying to get aid, right? They're being told to go and get aid from this certain place, and then they're being shot at, and tanks opening fire on them and that kind of thing. And it's just kind of like, oh, just another day in Gaza, right? Another 20 people killed today, allegedly, killed, allegedly, sort of thing. And you kind of see the narrative that's being portrayed there. It's like, don't actually do anything, don't worry about it. It's just, business as usual, and Western governments just kind of turning a blind eye, as if it wasn't happening at all. And it's like, wow, right? So we've got that kind of situation going on. And of course, these narratives get built up over time to a point where the populace just becomes kind of immune to the information. And because, again, they're being programmed. So we're all being programmed. We have all been programmed for so long to view certain people subconsciously as less important than others, basically. And that's what you had in Nazi Germany in the 30s. This constant kind of propaganda that they put out, demonizing the Jews and turning them basically into subhumans. And you had these famous examples of the propaganda films by Joseph Goebbels, who was the minister of, I think, information or propaganda, where you literally had like a narrative, the Jews this, and then you'd have like footage of rats, right? And that would be kind of comparing them in that way. And it was just this, horrific portrayal of a people in a certain way that helped to desensitize the population to what was happening and to make them think of the people in that way, right? And that's, of course, what's happened to the Palestinians, especially in the last couple of years. And obviously that's from the perspective of that, that kind of Zionist state there that's occupying their lands. So anyway, I don't want to get too political, But so I wanted to just give an example of that, but I want to kind of contextualize everything that's going on in a broader picture, because we're at the end of an age, we're at the end of a cycle and the beginning of a newer cycle, where humanity is having to kind of put its adult clothes on and wake up really from the trance that it's been in. And it's quite a brutal situation where we start to see, we read between the lines and we start to see beyond the headlines and start to interpret things on a much deeper level, as we have this kind of democratization of the media using the internet. And we're able to see actually from people's phones what's going on, right? Because everyone's got a camera on their phone. We've got this situation where the truth is kind of spilling out no matter what, and it's just going to increase. So not only is the propaganda going to increase, but also the truth seeping through is just going to increase as disclosure happens, and we're given information from people who are coming out and saying, okay, this is, whistleblowers, etc. And this has been going on behind the scenes for a long time, but it's coming to a point now. And so what we're seeing is as these frequencies of consciousness are rising, we're being shown, we're having to look at, okay, what's really happening, and see the darkness, right? To see the ugly underbelly that's always been there, but it's never been revealed before. So, hence this time of revelation, apocalypse, etc. And I'll make more videos about this if you're interested. So we've got this situation on the planet where on the one hand we've got yoga, meditation just exploding, right? And have been, but now everyone's listening to meditations and learning to meditate, etc., right? And learning mindfulness and all that kind of thing. It's becoming very kind of trendy, and for good reason. And then you've got actual truth spilling out, and because you can get that now on your phone, and you can find the place, even though there's the censorship and everything, you can still find the channels and in the information that you want. And so it's all coming to a head in this way, and it's incredible. It's unprecedented, and it's going to continue. And so what is going to happen is that the fear is going to be amped up increasingly, right? There's going to be more war, it looks like, and other crazy stuff happening. And it's also then you also start to see that it's a distraction from something else, that, right, the digital IDs and everything else, transhumanist agenda, etc. And so we got all of this going on. And then what humanity gets to do, the opportunity, is to think for ourselves and also stop looking to the outside authority, who the government, etc., and obeying that, and start listening to their inner authority, your inner authority, and understanding that you have your own direct connect to source, to truth within you, and you don't need what that authority is saying. And it's like you've been in a narcissistic relationship this whole time, and now you're having the opportunity to wake up. So I hope that's been helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Okay, bye for now.